Alrighty, it's 2 minutes past 4 already, so I think it's a good time to start. Yeah, welcome to this webinar. Today we have a really exciting webinar. We're going to talk about how to deliver powerful e-commerce experiences. This time we're not alone. We're joined by our partner Storyblok, so that's really nice. And really briefly, who do you have in front of you? My name is Hees. I'm the co-founder and strategy director of Storyblok. And today joining me is Samuel Snopko. He is the head of developer relations at Storyblok. And he's also seen as he is the face of Storyblok as well. And then an introduction about Storyblok and about Storyblok. Storyblok is the leading e-commerce agency. What we do is we build and scale e-commerce brands, and we do that for Signify, for Intersport, for Lucas Bols, and many more really nice clients. We are based in Amsterdam, and we're currently with a team of 30 people. And then Storyblok. Well, Storyblok is a headless content management system, or in other words, a headless CMS. And Storyblok is by far our preferred solution when it comes to building e-commerce experiences for our clients. And Storyblok is really like a new kid on the block. It's a super fast growing company, and they're now taking over the whole CMS industry. And they have a bunch of really nice clients, Happy Socks, Pizza Hut, Deliveroo, and many more amazing companies. So then the topics for today, what will you learn? Today I will start off with my presentation, the new role of e-commerce. I will dive into what the role of e-commerce is in today's world. And then I will show you how to create content so you can deliver powerful e-commerce experiences according to the 20-20 rule. And then the other Sam will take over. He will talk about what the Headless CMS is, the benefits of Headless, talk about Storyblok. He will give you a brief demo and some more stuff. So I would say grab your notebook, a pen, and let's dive into this webinar. So the new role of e-commerce. E-commerce is also seen as the sea of sameness. And why is that? Well, because almost every web shop looks more or less the same with the same layout, which was fine, but it is not anymore because e-commerce has grown up, especially over the past year because of the pandemic. And so brands also need to level up their e-commerce experiences to stay competitive. But why is e-commerce referred to as the sea of sameness? And to understand that, we need to take one step back. A step back to a couple of years ago when the big e-commerce software companies like Shopify developed systems that handled both the front end and the back end at once. And this is also called a monolithic system. And this seemed nice at the time, one system handling both the front end and the back end, but it actually brings with it a lot of limitations. And the one we're talking about today is how you can portray your content. So the customization of the front end and how you can deliver those experiences, which is in fact very limited with a monolithic setup. And that also explains the rise of headless e-commerce, of the headless solution, and at the same time of headless content management systems, because they do allow you to create experiences that will help you stand out, that represent your brand, and that can be delivered across devices and platforms. So I already stated that e-commerce has grown up, and I think this quote perfectly indicates that. It's from the CEO of Adidas, Kasper Roorstedt, and he says, our single most important store in the world is our .com store, and there's no comparison. And I think if a CEO of a company this size says something like this, it's serious, especially since Adidas is a brand that was largely dependent on brick and mortar and still is. So, it's a very serious, that they say that their e-commerce experience is by far more important than all of their brick and mortar stores across the world. Well, that means something. So like I said, In order to stay competitive in today's day and age, you need more than just a standard template. You need to stand out on all fronts, and you need to deliver powerful, content-focused e-commerce experiences. And e-commerce is also no longer just a conversion channel. E-commerce is a brand moment, and it's a crucial part of your brand, if not the lifeline of your brand. And so the role of e-commerce has changed. Your e-commerce experience is, a brand moment, and most likely one of the most important ones. So then, defining the role of e-commerce, like when someone comes to your website, they've taken the time to get to the website, and so they're open to invest their time and take a deep dive in everything that you have to offer. So with e-commerce, the .com experience plays a significant role in the whole marketing ecosystem, because an e-commerce experience is a playground where customers can explore, research, and become educated about everything that you have to offer. So your product website or your e-commerce website is in fact the most important brand moment in the entire customer journey. And that's the new role of e-commerce. And why is it the most important part of the whole customer buying journey? That's because e-commerce experiences, if they have the right content in place, they have the ability to empower your customers, because websites can help people feel like they already know how to use a product, what it looks like, how it's beneficial to their lives, how it's adding value to their lives. And in the end, your e-commerce experience should be a place where your customers can get informed and inspired, all in all, so that the customer can make a well-educated decision. And yeah, how you can do this, how you can create this experience that informs your customers and that inspires them, is what I will cover next. And that's the 20-20 rule. If you follow this rule, you will have all the content in place to create and deliver powerful e-commerce experiences, and experiences that capture attention, that drive engagement, and builds relationships. So let's dive into the first one. That's 20 seconds to capture attention. How are you adding value to people's lives? Well, according to Facebook, brands on social media have around 1.7 seconds to tell their stories. So that's 1.7 seconds to stand out and pique consumer interest. And while you have a bit more time on your e-commerce website, it's still crucial that you pique consumer interest and that the person visiting your website is able to understand how you're adding value to their lives. And how you do this is by forgetting about product specifications, and instead think in product features, and think of features like hobbies, activities, and benefits that people can understand, that can help them understand how the product is adding value to their lives, and can help them visualize the product. And an example of this is from the company Hees. This is one of the fastest growing direct-to-consumer brands at the moment, and they do this perfectly. Hees sells low alcohol drinks. And so what they do is they think of benefits and activities regarding their product. And that's what they want to showcase. They're skipping the product specifications and they're diving straight into the value and into the features of the product. So what they came up with is feel good about what you drink. That's their main thing. And to the left of that, you see a picture, an activity of friends, a group of people drinking a house drink. So within 20 seconds, most likely within 5 seconds, you have a clear understanding of what they do. They make you feel good about what you drink when you're drinking with your friends. So how they did it is by not focusing on product specifications, but like I said, focus on product features, and features as in hobbies, activities, and benefits. Then the second one, that is 2 minutes to drive engagement and control the release of information to tease further exploration. And of course, in order to be successful today, tomorrow, actually always, you need a good product, but you actually need more than just a good product. In today's world, you need to resonate to people on all types of different levels. So you need to align with customers and make them feel like, hey, I might want to learn more about them, and I might even want to buy from this brand. So within those 2 minutes, you want to pique people's interest in what you do. And this is best done through storytelling, wherein you share your values. So why share your values? Well, you do this so customers can identify themselves with what you stand for, and see if you are on the same line. Because in the end, standing for the same values is the core of any relationship between a brand and a person. And an example is the collaboration between Adidas and Allbirds. Allbirds is another brand that is selling shoes and clothing in the whole sports industry. And they collaborated to create the most sustainable shoes ever made. And they created this really nice campaign website. And on there, first of all, within 20 seconds, you understand what they do. And then they have this really beautiful video wherein they share what they do, why they do it, how they see the world, and what they believe in. So with this video, they are immediately saying like what they stand for in order to connect with people who stand by the same values. And by the way, I would love to showcase this video, but with like this webinar, it's always a bit of a hassle. So in the follow-up email, I will also include this page to the website and the video so you can check it out yourself. And then the last one of the 20-20 rule is 20 minutes to build a relationship. And it's basically let those who want to learn more, learn more. And most brands, and thus their website, vastly underestimate customers and their ability and willingness to learn. Because customers do want to learn about your product and about your brand before they're making a purchase. So you need to have all the content in place to let those who want to learn more, learn more. Because also in the end, a customer will only buy from you if you earn their trust. And trust is earned by answering all the questions a customer might have about the product you're selling and about your brand. And you can answer questions in a really nice way, and that is through content. So by having over 20 minutes of content at least accessible, easily accessible throughout your website, your e-commerce experience, customers can take a deep dive into your story, into your brand, into the products you're selling, and you can start to build like a real relationship with them. And a perfect example of this is Patagonia. Patagonia, I think they have hundreds of hours of content, but it's easily accessible throughout and strategically accessible throughout their e-commerce experience. So you can watch documentaries, films, product videos, etc. And customers can, really dive into their story, understand what they stand for in terms of values, understand what the product, quality is, why they make those products. And, when you visit that website, diving into their brand is just as easy as buying products. So that's a really nice thing. And, crafting or creating and having the content to deliver on the 20-20 rule is one thing. It's like basically one piece of the puzzle. But then delivering that content in a great way with your e-commerce website across channels and devices is like the whole other part. And I touched upon it in the beginning, which is basically that showcasing such content is only possible with a headless solution and a headless CMS. So now I give the word to Samuel from Storyblok, who will talk more about this. So thank you for listening to my part. And now I give the word to Sam.
Thank you very much, Sam. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm jumping to my presentation. And of course, I jump into the wrong screen at first. So hi, everybody. Thanks for inviting me. And thank you, Sam. It was a very nice presentation. And I like the 20-20 rule. And I think like Storyblok or in general, also the headless solution can help really a lot with it. So what we are going to talk today is basically what is the power of the headless, or I have the power as some of you can find this from the Heman, and also like I was very surprised as I find more about Headless. My name, I didn't mention it, is Samuel Snopko, but Samuel already mentioned it. You can find me on Samuel Snopko as a Twitter. And if you have any questions of also like after watching the recording of this, feel free to ask me. Or you just go to the Storyblok account on the Twitter, which is the Storyblok, and you can also ask these questions there or just find our communities on Discord or other. But let's jump back to the topic of the headless. And the headless, in my opinion, and or in general, how I see it, is not only about the monolithic versus headless, or as some people see it like the monolithic CMSs versus the headless CMSs or traditional CMSs. Because that's the look where you look on the front end versus backend, and we were always like very coupled in the old ways where we couldn't like choose out the front end solution as we needed and wanted to have it. And that basically brought a lot of restrictions to us, like to building a 2220 rule could be sometimes quite difficult, as we had not the freedom as developers to build whatever and how we want to. But in the general look on it, it's, you can see as everything is decoupling. So there are like more specialized systems, and software as a services are coming out as cloud services specialized in the e-commerce, which is like, for example, the Shopify, or also like authentication services. And all of that is decoupling. And then you want to basically keep your stack together and build the headless. And the headless is one of the part of it, an important part of it, of course. And that brings us to the point that at the end, we can deliver the best developer experience, because we are focusing also on the developer experience of the part where we are building the content and managing the content, but also we still can keep all the features of the traditional or modern CMSs for the users, how to manage the content, how to schedule it, etc. I will get to there in a few other slides. So, and why I think it also is a big thing is that we see a big movement, also not only in the new companies like headless CMSs like Storyblok, but also the traditional CMSs are trying to deliver this new headless experience and like make it possible to work better with the frameworks like Next, or Svelte, or whatever you will choose. Let's jump a little bit back and think about the whole thing. What is the evolution of the CMS? So as we look at the CMSs, our content management system, there are few points where the content management system is happening to be a content management system. And at the beginning, like in 90s, as we started with HTML, we had just files, and we as developers were moving them from the file system to servers, and when we had a website. And this was like not really scalable. So we found out ways to build like Git-based CMSs, or the monolithic CMSs, or traditionals, how we call them. And then we could add there a lot of non-developer features like content authoring, internet and previews. But this monolithic CMSs also did one thing. They restricted us as developers, and also at the end of the users, because they told us how we should build the content editor, content types, how we should build the front end, what technologies we should use, which templates, etc. And that at the end with upcoming frameworks like Next.js or Nux made us basically unable to use some of these CMSs. And we then took the step back to the Git based CMSs, where we again were using the feature of the Git, so versioning system, just to move basically the files. And that was the point where the idea of the headless CMSs came to some minds. So it's like the first one were in around 2015, and the Storyblok prototype first was in end of the 2016 and 2017. So basically, that was the point when we think like, okay, we want to deliver developers the API, the data, but still we want to keep all the non-developer features like content authoring, internalization, or maybe even the visual preview. And that is the point where we are getting. So what is the headless CMS, or what is not? So at first, I had to say the Storyblok or the headless CMS is definitely not a Git-based solution. It's a solution that is focusing also and mainly on the marketers and non-developers. So make possible to edit as fast as possible the content without even sometimes to making a proper onboarding process, because it's really straightforward and people really like it and know how to start working. It should be done the UX that way. And it's definitely not for on developers, as I said. You can choose your stack as you want, And very important, it will not lock you in. So if you want to choose, for example, a new front-end framework, you can just switch from the front-end framework. But if you also want to take all your content, you can just use our APIs and take your content and go to the other solutions, because that is how it should work, because the content belongs to you. But also Storyblok gives you the freedom to do the project as you need it. So what does it mean is like you can sometimes build a landing page. So you don't need to have complicated or complex structures. You just need a flat structure. But sometimes you need the folder structure where you have to set up all your landing, all your pages, URLs, how they are structuralized, and how the CEO will work. And that's all freedom you will get with the headless solution, because up to you or your agency, like Story of AMS, who are like our partners, and they help you set up the best way for your project. And then you can choose the technology of your choice. And in the future, if there is new technology, it's really powerful. You don't have to go and switch the whole CMS part. You just need to switch the technology if you want to use the new technology, and you can still use the old content, which you had already on your website in the way as you need it. You will choose any API you want, and you can even extend it, which is also like something that is very confusing, that some people think that headless CMS means that you cannot extend it. No, that's not the true. You can really easily like extend it in multiple ways, from applications, custom applications to custom field types. But what I, as a front-end developer, love about the headless CMS is that it finally gave me the time and use the budget that clients give me to focus on the solution that customers really want and know and need. So I didn't have to spend so much money on the backend. I was spending the money of really developing the really smooth, fast, and nice looking front end for the customers and the visitors of the website, and not building the backend, of which is important, but nobody sees it. So there should be a better way to do it. Also, additionally to that, you have to think about a way that Storyblok or the headless CMS is taking care of some parts that usually you will have to take care by yourself if you are going for the regular, usual monolithic way or traditional way. And that's, for example, the security, because we are cloud services. So we are doing the regular updates. We are checking if everything's up to date. And if the security update is needed, it's done by us, by our experts, and it's not needed to be done by you. So it's not require any step for you. You will not get any email that, hey, you have to update now your system because there is a security issue and you could be like hacked or something like that. Also, there are regular improvements on the UX UI part. So we're basically getting all the new apps, all the new improvements into the system for free by just using it, and you don't have to do any steps to get that there. The same go for the database, which is like a great example. I have like we hired like new database expert, and they just set up better the database, and the database were just suddenly 2 times faster as before. So basically, your content is delivered faster, and you have you spend less time to deploy your content or generate it, and all of that you are still getting basically kind of for free, so paying the monthly fee, but you don't have to do any steps to your stuff. And what I also really like is the whole problem of the bug features, request, and update. So in the old ways, if there was a bug, somebody reported the bug, then somebody find a solution for a bug, and then everybody had to go and update it. But right now, if somebody is asking for the feature or bug, and we will fix it, you don't have to do the update, you will just get it. And same goes for translations, that Storyblok is already translated into 11 languages, and you can basically just go and switch your language for the UI. And there are also other features to consider if you are choosing the CMS, because the CMS you shouldn't consider only for today. I saw also today a very nice video about this, and the point is like you have to also consider the future. So what you will need in the future. So now you're building the website, but where you can scale up, how much it will cost if you scale up. So how much other features you will need. Okay, now you basically maybe need a website only in English, but in the future you probably go for German market or Spanish market. So how complicated will it be to add new languages? Do you need to get also some advanced rights? So have special editors who can just see something or edit only the one language. How you will be scheduling the content that should be like published in the middle of the night or just for a short time of period, like a weekend. Like for example, now it's Euro 2020, and you have there is a match Netherlands against somebody, and you want to just post a very special offer for this time. So you just have to plan it somehow, and you don't want to be up in the middle of the night. So those are all the features that you should consider. And why I really like about the Storyblok and where the Storyblok won my heart was definitely the visual editor and the preview, where we offer also the visual editor, real-time visual editor, where you can see in real time without the saving and redeploying the stuff how your website or application will look like. And I will get that soon in the demo of the headless e-commerce. But there's like how this webinar is about the headless e-commerce, and the question is where it is coming. So headless was basically the big thing of 2020, and it still is. But the next years it's coming the headless e-commerce. So the headless e-commerce, what is it? Is it possible? And the answer is the yes. And the point is like that we want to make it very fast and very quick, the new website with a headless e-commerce with different tools. And that's why we want to reuse stuff. So if you want to build a new shop, we want to reuse already some parts that we can use on all the e-shops, but still we want to make them look different. So there is this part of reusability that headless CMSs are bringing us, that we can reuse the stuff. We can delegate the tasks to different tools. And what I mean with that is like, if you are building a headless e-commerce, there is a storytelling. A storytelling is a big part because that is where you get all the attention, where the Patagonia is building their stories and why everybody loves Patagonia, basically. And that it's not quite very easy to do directly in e-commerce solutions. So that's why the headless CMSs like Storyblok is coming to the game, and you can build that storytelling there. But we can connect very easily as we have APIs. And also the Shopify, for example, have an API. We can very easily connect together, and then Story of AMS can build with both of these solutions a very nice website. And every website will look differently, but basically behind there are very similar features. Plus, still the security of your products is on Shopify part, and the security of the storytelling is on our side. So you still have these features that that I was talking in the last time, and adding the performance, and at the end you are focusing on what you matter. So how the website will look and how you will tell the story of your brand. So and now I will show you a very quick demo how can it look like in the headless system, and how you can build a website. So I have a demo which is built, and this is just for a look and feel. So it's not a big demo, it's like a 1 minute demo, which I built with Next, which is a front-end framework, which you can replace with Next.js or other PHP frameworks or something else. I used a view storefront, which is basically already prepared library of components for building the e-commerce. I call it the e-commerce glue. There's also like other options there you could use. Then the Storyblok is used as a headless CMS, and the Shopify, which is also the partner of the stories of the AMS, it's used as the backend. So where you will take care of your products. So where are the stuff like taxes, what are the special discounts and all that stuff, like warehouse, like how many products do you have on there. So and what is the demo? So the demo or the Storyblok is basically look like this. I have to tell you that we are already working with the redesign. So maybe if you watch this like in a few, like 2-3 months, it will look different a little bit, but we will keep the stuff more or less the same, just it will look much nicer. And here is the dashboard where you can, of course, see all the statistics about your space or content, what's happening, who is changing it, what are your last edits, what are your tasks. But what are we today interesting is the content. So how we can edit our content. So here I have just one website. It's called a Connected Home, and I wanted to show you a demo how a storefront of your Connected Home could look like. So here I have a website. And here I have a big part, which is a visual editor. Usually you would see something like this, like just forms, and then you would fill all the forms, and then you could have save button, publish button, and then you could like preview your website. And that's the regular flow that you would do. In Storyblok, on the other side, if you integrate also with Shopify, for example, you can do this, use the visual editor, when you can see how does it look like the homepage. And we are promoting here some featured product. We have some other products. We have some basically some teasers for a different not classes, but different type of products. But if you look on the website at first, it consists of a lot of storytelling. So there is only this part is the e-commerce. The rest is how you set up the storytelling. So for example, I could go here and change the content. So as I click here, I open the right content on the right hand side. So it's this my banner grid, which is called. And here I can change, for example, the versions, how it look like. So it's like change that the lady is now the big one. This is a little bit slimmer, and there are two under each other. In the version 1, I want to maybe use this. So you can use like different layouts. You can then, of course, go and change which part will be showed, for example. So now I can like send this to banner A, and then I will send the lady to the slot A. So, and this is where you are like trying the storytelling of the part of your website. And what is important is that I didn't hit the save button. So I didn't create the new version directly in my database. I still just previewing and experimenting with my content. As a marketer, as a content editor, this is very important because you are free to do an experiment without the saving. And what I mean with that is like okay, now I can see like, does it work on the mobile? Want to I change it something on the iPad or tablet, or maybe I want to go for something like a little bit more dynamic. And then if I'm like, of course, happy with my demo or my setup, I can save it. And the moment of the save, I'm creating the new version, and I would see then in the history that I basically did some changes, and I can go always back, for example, restore this version of my content. And this is where the Storyblok is coming in, and you can like set up, you can change the order. So let's say like you can see these are the different sections, and I can like switch the hero area with my banner, and now the hero banner is on the top. My hero area slider is the second part. But okay, I still didn't mention where is the e-commerce part. So the e-commerce part is coming where you are, where you will be basically managing your product. So I have a Shopify with API setup, and from this API, I can get my product. So here I have one, just a template where I have statically shown some products. I cannot change it. So if I want to change it, I would go here to the feature product, which I set up as again as a different product slider. And here I can change, for example, my description to top products, and I directly see the updates. And now I can also like use our widget or plugin for the Shopify, where I can select products. So I can have open this products. I have a little overlay, and I am connected to API of the Shopify, for example. And now I can like pick the products, or I could go like for only the white, yeah, of course, white, black. And there's probably white everywhere somewhere. So I can like select different products. I can hide it. Now I see that I selected only these two products as the top products. And I have to now save it because there is no still live reload for the products, as I need to also ask the Shopify, hey, give me now only these two products. And now if I scroll down, I see only two products. So you can like very easily like by hand pick the products that you want to promote. For example, in the sliders like this, you can set up the categories. You can set up like other rules, like you can set up like, hey, give me only the products that were already sold over 1,000 times. And then you can everything what basically the API of the e-commerce solution can deliver. So whatever you will get from that, your agency story of the AMS can help you basically to set up the rules. Here, the good sample is also that I could also, instead of like selecting the products, I could select like, hey, show me only the backs. I didn't set up the front end for that, so it's nothing will happen. But I will then, for example, like hide, and I will then show the backs from the e-commerce solution. And this is basically the experience that we want to and think is much easier and much faster for your content editors, marketers, because they quite easily can set up the product, and then they can work in the Storyblok. And then if they want to send it to like, let's say to, yeah, okay, I have this error here right now. So if they want to send it to, let's go to one version back, because probably I set up something wrong there. If they want to send it to somebody who's outside the Storyblok, like your CEO or CTO or VP of marketing, they can like also create like a link, which is then publicly with special tokens inside, and they can then publicly see like the preview, even without the people see and need to know how to use the Storyblok. So only those few people really need to use the Storyblok very easily, freely as they need. And this was like basically the demo of the Storyblok I wanted to show you, which I know that Story of AMS already built a great other e-commerce solutions. And so want to know more, speak to them directly. That's one option. Also, you can check out our white papers where we speak about the e-commerce, how to do it, how to set up your e-commerce stuff, maybe how to create that. You can also check out our blog where our marketing team and other teams are creating a lot of content about headless, and also like which I really can recommend is this article about content management in the headless e-commerce, where we basically getting a little bit more details about how you can use it. And that's it. That's everything from my side. I want to thank you one more time to Sam and the Story of AMS to inviting me. I want to thank all of you, and I'm looking for your questions. Oh, and I have to also thank to the team of the Storyblok for building such cool applications, because I can have a very easy job to present it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for your presentation. I think, yeah, great talk, and the demo gives a lot of nice insights in how like Storyblok works. So now for the Q&A, let's see if some questions come in. Yes, I see the first one. Is Headless ready for enterprises?
Yeah, definitely. I think like many enterprises already switch to headless. I mean, there are big companies, multi like with hundreds of websites. From what we can share, I think like the education first, for example, is using Storyblok, or also which is like over 150 different like countries. If I'm correct right now with numbers, I'm not good. It's a lot of countries. The Happy Stocks also is using Storyblok, and you could also like mention definitely a few clients. So there is a lot of enterprise clients who are asking for this, because there are multiple big pros for them, as they don't they can set up like also for different countries, different setups, use different components. They are not so restricted in the old times. So really, yes, they are exploring and turning to this.
I agree, and I actually think that like Headless is perfect for enterprises, because, for example, Intersport, they have a very large, rigid backend system, and like with a Headless solution, you can just couple it to that system without messing with the whole backend and breaking the whole thing. You can just couple a really nice, whatever solution, web application, or e-commerce website.
The restrictions and the headless, the big opportunity of headless is that from my old times, it was also like quite difficult to switch to something, because you had already the restrictions and the environments and how you will deploy and everything like that. With the headless, you can like set up a small websites, landing pages very quickly with custom components, and you don't need to like you can bind a few of those rules and go very freely, like use something, do a little experiment, and nobody will be hit by that. So that's nice.
Yeah, agree. And I already see the next question, which is, let me see, how is Storyblok different than, for example, Contentful?
Yeah, there are like few differences. I don't like so much as to comparisons. Of course, there are like in the headless, like we are very proud about the visual editor, and real time, like we find a way how to put it together for different frameworks and different stuff. And then from the feature, like you could like do like the pricing is working a little bit different also. What they pricing and against our pricing, that's I don't want to go to details at the moment, but that's one thing. Then definitely what is the difference are the features offering, but that's some features which Contentful is offering, which we are offering. Contentful may not have right now at the moment, or also like you can find in different levels or different tiers those features. So there are always like a lot of possibilities to check out and see what and where you will find, in my opinion. But I would say definitely the real-time visual editor, check it out, because like I think that's the feature of 2021 or like the next years, and everybody will be having that soon, I hope, or I shouldn't hope, maybe.
I hope for for the brands that they have like a visual editor and it's run on Storyblok. And like I see another question, like why does Story of AMS work with Storyblok? And I think it's based, like we also looked at all the different CMSs for our clients, and there are many reasons for Storyblok, but like the visual editor is a big part, since e-commerce is also like I said, not just a conversion channel, but also this marketing channel. So being able to see what you're doing live while adjusting things is really important. Also, like you don't need to have any coding experience. You can just make changes, see how you're impacting the website, etc. And the other one is pricing. So like the pricing is scalable, and like it grows as your business grows. So that's also really nice. It's not just like a fixed fee, no matter the size of your business. So like, yeah, I think that's one of the many reasons.
Yeah, and also like what I should mention is the way you build the stuff. So in Storyblok, you can very easily follow the atomic design and all these methodologies, where you can build basically all the components as you need it to very small details. There are also some cases where people go so crazy that they're already like building another Wix with their setup, which we are like sometimes like afraid of. But yes, it's really free, and you can do basically big templates where you just set up the fields, or you can go to small components, and then you have the opportunity to combine everything and build so many layouts. So that's incredible in my opinion.
Yeah, agree. Let's see if any other questions come in. Otherwise, yeah, I would like to thank you a lot, Samuel, for your time, for your great talk. Yeah, thanks for everyone that tuned in, and I hope to see yeah, everyone that tuned in at the next webinar. I don't see any more questions, so yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and see you soon somewhere, hopefully in person. So that would be great in Amsterdam on the next conference or something like that.
Hope so. Bye.
Bye bye.